Mirage, Wanted Goons have taken us to what I would say is a surprising start to map number 2, and that's going to be Nuke. But for now, we have a little bit of discussion to do. My name is Blaker. I'm joined tonight by Floofys. We have Exploding behind the cameras, doing all the cool camera work and helping us put on a good show. But Floofys, before we get into Nuke, we had a little bit of discussion about the oppers being the main focus of this map. And realistically, I want to hear more about that because we talked about how J Chance didn't necessarily have that showing on Mirage, and Killer Pandas was playing with some confidence and with swagger, and creates some questions to be answered if you're Phoenix.
It really does. I usually expect J Chance to be like I put a lot of emphasis on operas to begin with, but J Chance, especially on the teams that he's on, you see him and you expect a terror. And I think it was more of Marvel Phase One Thanos than Phase Two. So who knows? Nuke is not really the map for operas though. Like you play it outside or you play it ramp, but other than that, your opera is not going to have as much impact, and especially not on the T side, which Phoenix are going to be starting on the T side for their own map pick.
So I have some controversial thoughts about that. I think that both of these teams, and especially with how NACS has kind of evolved and how that meta has kind of seen a lot of teams establish conditioning early on towards outside, I definitely think that Phoenix is going to be doing a little bit of that early on with whether it's the red cross smokes or even the L smokes, right? With the ones from mini towards big garage, and I think that it's going to be an interesting show from the side of Phoenix. They're going to have to establish conditioning early and realistically draw some reactions from Wanted Goons because Wanted Goons have been playing, like I said, with confidence so far, and Nuke leaves a lot of questions to be answered, at least for me, in terms of how Phoenix are going to approach it and whether or not J Chance will be able to come alive and really lock down some of these yard areas and able to realistically lead his team to a victory. But for now, as we mentioned, it is the map pick of Phoenix. It's Nuke. It's the pistol round, and J Thanos has yet to get the Infinity Stones.
He sure has. Well, I mean, again, if Phoenix were able to start things off quickly on their T side, and we saw them win both pistol rounds in the previous map, should have a good opportunity to roll things well as they proceed through Nuke. This is an interesting setup to start things off for Wanna Goons, though. Two players down on lower when a lot of teams will bust out onto that upper site. See the smoke already tossed and a mini Johan spamming on through, but does not connect whatsoever. And Phoenix have themselves a relatively open upper bomb site. They get to plant the bomb, and there's only been 6 points of damage caused so far, and I think that was just Molotov damage.
Yeah, this creates a very interesting late round scenario because you can see the crossfires have already been established through lobby, but it might not matter. Feb and Killer Pandas are hitting their shots, and that draws a heavy reaction out of the side of Phoenix. Both players now tuck towards Squeaky. MDS is going to be the first line of defense, but the shots aren't connecting, and they finally do for Honest as he separates the skulls from the shoulders of the Goons and puts them on a wanted poster.
That was just an awkward pistol. Wanna Goons, it seemed like they had no idea what was coming their way. As Phoenix were mustering inside of lobby, it was just suddenly they're on a site and there's nothing you can do. The heavy capacity of the Glock just proving to be too much to overcome in those multiplayer fights for Wanna Goons. Now, well, if you can't win pistol round by having all 5 players separate, why not stack them up? 5 players inside of mini, but not going to stop Phoenix from taking the A-bomb site either way. And again, a single bullet onto J-Dubs is all the damage that we get before the bomb goes down. So now everyone going up to heaven.
And flash play being prepped for Magic. It's going to pop. J-Dub's going to be the first to drop in, and actually is blind as bat, so Gabe has free access to his chest, and Gabe finds 3 kills with the MAC-10. That's a hefty padding to that wallet, but Magic's looking for some exits. There's a lot of noise being made by Phoenix, and Honest is going to be the one to make the last shout. Phoenix find 2-0, and I'll be interested to see if Wanna Goons continue the staggered defense and continue to play for these retakes, and if they continue to do that, then Phoenix might just continue to all-out brawl into these sites and force Wanted Goons off.
So Goons have 3 kills in 2 rounds. That is just such a bad sign that I'm definitely a little worried, especially with that money that was earned by the MAC-10. If Phoenix continue to grind this map out, Goons have a lot to be worried about. I was saying that whoever wins map 1 is probably going to win map 3 to get to that, but now I'm getting a little bit nervous. However, the M4s will grind right through, and a quick 3K for Goons to send Phoenix packing. Gabe not ready to leave just yet. Takes his licks as well. Good kill onto J-Dubs, but he's going to be all alone with barely any HP to speak of. Killer Pandas spam through the smoke, and Goons will take their first.
And so, one thing I want to touch on here for the side of Phoenix is I like the idea of the cross smokes, and I like the idea of trying to go fast, especially with the MAC-10s, but I don't like it when you haven't been throwing them already. It feels like you have to establish, like I mentioned before this map got started, the conditioning early on to be able to actually utilize those outside smokes later in the half. And I guess a perfect display there, because as those smokes do come out, all of Goons are able to turn towards outside because they know that no one's going to be in her. I feel like we saw a ramp push as well from the Goons as that outside play was unfolding, but this is the kind of conditioning I was talking about. Throwing those outside smokes, not putting too much behind it, and letting Goons go hunting through them.
Well, the fun thing about outside, so they say that there are more different games of chess than there are okay, Kobe. There are grains of sand in the world, but I think we've seen Nuke outside smokes and plays expand to such a way that there's so many different ways you can play it. However, Feb does manage to stump J-Chance. That is going to bring us down to the 3 versus 3. Magic gets a little bit overheated into Hut and gets torn apart. Phoenix once again with the numbers starting to surround Goons. They'll have to battle their way out. Johan already with 1 to bring us back to even numbers once again. But Phoenix have Goons from multiple directions from heaven. It's honest, striking above. Feb responds, but it's not going to be enough from behind pillars. It's 163 to finish the job. 3-1 Phoenix.
Yeah, as round number 5 does come into our eyesight. I have no idea where I was going with that one. I'm not going to lie to you. But it's going to be an interesting buy from Phoenix. 2 MAC-10s, 2 AK-47s. But on the side of the Goons, we see a hero rifle and upgraded pistols. Will Magic be able to do the Eddie Hall style deadlift, I guess? Because it's going to require what feels like that. Honest opens up the round. Johan's good for 1, and the rotation should be secured towards this B site. We already see Killer Pandas towards Secret. The rest of the squad is through vents, and Gabe might run into the stone wall of Desert Eagles.
Okay, but where was this pace out of Phoenix on map number 1? They are going so fast. Yes, good. Gabe is killed by Killer Pandas, but again, these rifles already out on the B-bomb site, and a little bit of a desk pop there. I don't think there's a whole lot that Goons are going to be able to pull off. Again, they're looking at the retake. Honest decides those doors are ugly, decides to decorate them, and they've got 163 behind them. The spray down, good for 2, not quite enough. J-Dubs will answer back, but still, hero rifle, not heroic enough. Phoenix go up 4.
Phoenix do find that round, but nonetheless, Goon's able to make a financial impact. See MDS and Gabe both drop down to $750, and Honest is going to be kept in check as well. Drop down to 1,200. So realistically, I think that round is successful for Goons. Maybe not so much considering there's the investment from Magic with that M4A1S. But I expect Phoenix to be back to that conditioning game, back trying to manipulate the rotations from Goons, and even continuing to play with confidence, because clearly, on paper, they're the better team. And it's just a matter of them feeling like that, I think.
Yeah, it feels like a very different attitude out of Phoenix that we saw before. They're definitely taking a little bit more care this time around. They know that the rifles are going to be back out for Goons, and it's good. Though, Phoenix again on the A site in 30 seconds or less. Johan, though, responds, bring it back to 3 versus 3, but it's going to have to be a retake, and Valter trying to prevent it. Feb, the kill to respond, keep things even once again. And Phoenix have bit locked into positions. Nade onto the face of Gabe. Leaves J-Chance all alone. It's a 1 versus 2. Responds with an HE of his own. Knows he's got players to either side of them. Has to make his way out somehow. Gets tagged down from heaven, down to just barely a scratch of HP, and Feb will finish the job. Goons will finally take their second round.
Yeah, and Phoenix have been really good at pumping the brakes, especially in these mid rounds when they have Goons kind of panicking, I'd think. I feel like panicking is not the right word because I'd imagine Goons aren't actually panicking, but just kind of in the moment making those decisions under the pressure of the execute. And I'm starting to think that Goons are realizing that these executes are starting to look like a lot of initial pressure into an immediate pause, but pause is not what we're getting here. Gabe is somehow all the way almost up to the other side of the pillar, but Johan's still flying with that MP9. Magic finds his own kill, but Honest trades it right back. It's all a Magic show. There's Goons. Completely dissect, I'd say, the eco rush of the side of Phoenix. Killer Panda's putting a little bit of that movement on display. Once his piece of the pie hasn't been, I'd say, too active in this map, although the scoreline doesn't reflect what I'm just saying.
Has someone told Killer Pandas that the op is meant to be used at a long range? You don't have to be in kissing range to actually hit with it. And it's actually more effective at long range because your opponent can't try to kill you as easily. Like, between Mirage and Nuke, using Killer Pandas just get up close over and over and over again with the op. And it's just like, yes, I am going to play this like it's a shotgun that costs $5,000. That's a good idea. Phoenix now very quickly making work of this ramp position. Feb looking to try and hold them back, but there's no chance. There's just too many guns, and MDS will mow him down. And again, Phoenix out early, out fast, onto the D-bomb site. Maybe able to catch J-Dubs as well. Gabe with the clock. Oh my goodness. Phoenix, these are pistols. What are you doing? How is this working? The bomb already down. Magic now trying to come in here. Magic with a double spray down. But it's a 2 versus 2.
I have no idea how Phoenix just pulled that off. I mean, realistically, let's talk about the kill from Gabe on towards, I believe it was J-Dubs sitting behind double doors. J-Dubs completely thought he was sold.
He thought he was going to have the best pistol, or the best trigger discipline play ever. It was going to go up on Twitter. It was going to look awesome. It was going to get tons of likes, except it's not because the algorithm is terrible right now. But no, they beat them anyway. And now, again, we're 10 seconds into the round. Now the squeaky's blown off and Magic starts things off with a screamer.
I'm liking this aggression from Goons, trying to really play the contain game early on from Phoenix. They've been realistically playing a lot of brute force early on, and I guess when water doesn't put out the fire, you fight fire with fire, right? So a little bit of a taste of their own medicine, I guess. Establishing early utility control through Squeaky, but Phoenix still playing this patient round. It feels like they're assuming Goons are on a light buy, maybe, and trying to draw a reaction, but there are those late outside smokes. I feel like the only person that's going to be behind it is MDS, and realistically, it's not an issue. MDS has an opportunity to create his way back in towards Mini, or even go for a wrap towards Heaven, and with how the Goons are playing, it feels like Killer Pandas should be aware of this.
Oh, it looks like he is. The smokes are down, and Killer Pandas is just keeping an eye on outside, but doesn't want to linger for too terribly long. There's just too many opportunities for him to just be one-tapped by this AK. So chooses to concede the space, but again, Phoenix, after so many fast rounds, they slow things down once again, down to 20 seconds, and Killer Pandas is going to pick them off one at a time. Hut, not safe, not happy whatsoever, and MDS 1 versus 5 has to hear Goons as they swarm around. Oh, spots the player top hut. That's going to be a good kill to start things off, but I don't think the save is going to come in. He is going to at least take away some weapons on his way out.
Yeah, I feel like the pieces of the puzzle are starting to come together for Goons. Like I said, they're starting to understand that Phoenix's game plan relies a lot on that pressure from the chaos and trying to make wanted goons make a decision they don't actually want to commit to. And as wanted goons have been able to really put a stop to this early aggression from Phoenix, it feels like they've been able to make better decisions and ultimately come out on top of more rounds because they're finding more isolated duels, like so.
You want to talk about isolated duels? Yeah, jumping off of Twinkie, one of the most open and exposed places you can be. But at the very least, that does allow a little bit more presence for Phoenix out into ramp, and they do actually make it down with 3. Well, they don't quite go down. They're still going to take the fight to Feb and J Hall. The other Panda's going to be behind him as well, so this position gets more and more dangerous. But CZ with a kill, and the AKs come alive for Honest. Leaves Johan now alone, 1 versus 4. How does he make it out of this one? Well, he's on the B-bomb site, and that's where the bomb is too. Double kill as they walk out ramp. Go for the reload. 163 walks out doubles, but the spray doesn't connect. And Johan with a 3rd. This 1 versus 4. Wait a minute, it's looking doable. Now it's just Gabe alone. Not typically the opper for Phoenix. Coming out doubles as well. Oh, he spots the barrel just as Johan slinks into detox.
What an awkward timing. Gabe doesn't turn either, so Johan's feet have just been missed, and bomb's still down towards bottom ramp. It feels like Johan might be a little overthinking, but Gabe has to cross all T's, dot all I's, and make sure no one's home. The door has been closed, so a little bit of audio, but as that smoke gets dropped, Johan should be completely aware of the end goal for the side of Phoenix, but Gabe has a little bit of time left. 10 seconds. Johan has to get a little bit active. Tap does go in. Gabe is still checking the angles, but he lingers a little bit too long, and Johan finds the 1v4 of what I feel like is a lifetime to put wanted goons at 5-all, and a well-deserved tactical timeout from the side of Phoenix because they've lost all the momentum. It's now the wanted goons who are the sheriffs of this town.
That is the 1v4 that you dream of. That is the 1v4 where you're wondering why they're peeking you 1 at a time. That is the 1v4 where you're just like, I shouldn't have won that. How did I win that? Somebody clip that. That is ridiculous. And I love, they're going to be looking at the demo when they get finished with this going, wait a minute. He was upstairs and I didn't think about that. Like there was a full 30 seconds of just looking around the site, waiting for Johan to peek his head back out. Johan wasn't even there.
Great heads-up display from Johan. Some early aggression towards outside from Phoenix, but all they have to work with is upgraded pistols. This glaive smoke gives them a little bit more room to work with towards Mini, but at the same time, all eyes are attentive for the goons.
Yeah, and that smoke, the smokes have run out. There's no more utility left for Phoenix. It's going to be gunfights or nothing. Already, the first one's taken, and the Deagles are winning them. Dude, double entry for Phoenix. Only 1 response out of wanted goons. Able to rein things back in. Oh, and Johan going to be coming up behind them as well. The action hasn't been decisive out of Phoenix, and they might come back to bite them in the end. Feb and Johan now wrapped on 2. It's just Gabe left standing in the 1 versus 3. Definitely meant to say crack down 2, and then my brain just went a completely other direction. Anyway, 1 versus 3. We've seen these be won before, but Eagle versus Rifle usually only goes one way.
Yeah, and usually is definitely the right word there. Wanted goons able to put up 6 before this last round of the half will follow through, and I talked about it. It feels like wanted goons have really been able to show some evolution through as these maps have really gone underway, whether it was on the T side and figuring out the cracks in the holes of the defense on Mirage, or even here and now, identifying the habits and I'd say the tendencies of Phoenix more so than habits, because realistically, the goons have had all of the right reads at all of the right times, and the reactions have even been there. Even when they're not ready for something that Phoenix shows, they've slowly been able to develop the proper protocols to deal with everything.
You ever played the Stalker games?
So, no, I haven't, but I'm aware of the story.
Okay, So it's in the shadow of Chernobyl, right,
Hmm.
where the nuclear energy is causing all sorts of weird things to happen.
Hmm.
Nuke causes weird things to happen that don't happen on other maps, right? It's like, okay, it's Nuke, it's a CT sided map, right? You should have 7 to 5 or 8 to 4. But I can't tell you if Nuke is CT sided or T sided anymore. There are teams that make it look T sided. There are times when not only is the team that picked it looking T-sided, but somehow the other team is looking great as well. And oh, a little bit of a martyrdom nade for Magic as he's caught by MDS. Phoenix gonna stomp down lower, 4 strong. Feb though, oh, here waiting for them. Not be expected to be down here so early.
There's the brakes being pumped from Phoenix. Pretty much expected at this point for one Goons. Walter's able to activate on the lurk, but a huge swing from Feb only results in 1 kill. Johan's quick on the rotation, able to find the lurk, but Killer Pandas is all that really is close by. Just really open up this retake, and as that smoke gets deployed, feels like the one Goon's chances to seal off this half are starting to slip away. Molotov to really secure the entrance for Johan, but Killer Panda is going to be the first point of contact. This crossfire towards backside is set up, but Gabe goes swinging, felt the pressure of the Yap, and now it's all on towards Honest. It's a 1v1. He's able to collect the skull of Johan, but Killer Pandas is dropping into the smoke. He's made the drop. The stick is coming through. He's calling the bluff, but Honest doesn't believe it. The stick comes all the way through. The kit pays off, and one of Goons secure a 7-5 lead, and what I would say is I wouldn't say dominant fashion, but just that stick has to add style points to how you close out that half.
Well, that's what I'm talking about with Nuke, right? You expect it to be CT sided, but you get all sorts of weird things happening. One thing I do want to point out is playing from dark. A lot of times it can be a really powerful position, really tough to flush out. Yeah, there's some Molotovs that can do a great job of doing it, but the big weakness is it makes it tougher to play off your teammates. We saw Phoenix 2 versus 3. They get those picks so early, and the player dark is just kind of stuck there because if you peek out, you don't have a lot of room to play with, and you just die. Speaking of not a lot of room, this is going to be a ramp peak to start this one off, and the dualies only good for one. Double entry response out of one of Goons. This might be the first pistol round they win, but Phoenix hot on their tail, all down on lower already. Honest, taking the early shots, has to back away, can't quite connect. That bomb attempts to go down, but Gabe is already in position with the double. 2 versus 3 now for one of Goons. They had a decisive start to the round, but it's not quite enough. And the player defense now Honest. Oh my word, that USP connects for 2, and Phoenix 4 for 4 on pistol rounds.
One of Goons definitely got a little bit too tunnel vision there. He came in towards the planter, and the rest of the squad was just running down Honest, and Honest just played the vents game, just went up and down the ladder, played Ring Around the Rosie, and was able to stall just enough time for the support to make its way in. And as I mentioned, just a little bit too tunnel vision for the side of one and Goons. But heading into round number 14, they only have upgraded pistols to work with. Magic and Johan have Glocks, so I imagine a little bit of cannon fodder as this outside play unfolds. Finds one, swing comes in, Feb finds the kill, so it's a FAMAS in play for the side of the Goons, but if Johan tries to reload at the wrong time, Honest is going to separate his skull. He's able to offer up Feb as a sacrifice, and the wide swing comes in. Honest spots the shoulder, but can't convert the kill. Magic is good for 1, but it's only an MP9, and especially against the rifles, what much can you do?
Only an MP9?
It's the first kill. Yeah, I'm eating my words already. He's got the bomb. He's made it down the vents, and suddenly this feels a little bit wonky. Floofy's bomb might get stuck, but oh no. Okay, Walter's able to shut it down.
You meant godly MP9, only a FAMAS.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Because the FAMAS did nothing there.
I mean, there's a reason why so many people believe in the MP9. I mean, I have started to lose a little bit of faith in it. Vincent might hate me for this, but I'm starting to lean in towards the UMP supremacy.
Oh, good. If we were on land, I'd fist bump you. I also like the UMP.
Definitely think there's a little bit more range to work with when it comes to the UMP. It feels like it's got a little bit more weight behind the bullets.
I mean, honestly, at this point, I would say it might be almost time to buff the FAMAS. But then there's times where it sprays down 3 like nobody's business. Not this time though. Looks like 3 the first one to fall. Johan. And again, we've seen finally Phoenix playing with some pace on their T side. Goons will take that pace and throw it right back in their face. Already 40 seconds in, double entries, and Goons starting to make their way out. This might have a response though from Squeaky. No, the Famas betrays him. Yes, able to get the trade, but now has to get a second as well, and J-Dubs will deny. So it's just Gabe with that godly MP9 in the 1 versus 4. Still no bomb plant though. 45 seconds. Goons very carefully clearing out the A-bomb site. We can see Killer Pandas on the X-ray into heaven. J-Dub's going to get those numbers punched in, and now Gabe has to make a move. Looks like the answer is going to be picking up an M4, much more formidable weapon to try and save.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. One of Goons are taking a little bit of that aggression out of Phoenix's book and shoving it right back in their face. But the one thing that One of Goons are also doing that is different from the side of Phoenix is when Phoenix were pumping the brakes, they looked to make One of Goons overthink and try to force a rotation based off of no information. Whereas when One and Goons are making this aggressive play, and in this specific round, they paused, but they looked to pivot and or at least to sell the fake, because we saw Johan continue to smoke single door, continue to Molotov out towards radio, and we even saw those two players look for that flank towards lobby, and One of Goons just showing that there's levels to Phoenix's own strategy, and if the Goons are able to keep up this level of play, this becomes a lot scarier.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine if One of Goons have had those pistol rounds locked in. Phoenix, they've been playing so well when they finally get the weapons out, but I mean, that's the one killer that comes for us all is server issues.
Yeah, I'm assuming a little bit of a no life rule. No damage has been dealt. Feb lets
Oh,
Honest walk up and down. So, bit of a freebie. Feb
what
can't
was
hit the
that
spray.
spray?
It's going to be an all-out deathmatch in the server now. I'm interested in calming this one because I wonder if we're actually going to see the all-out brawl or if everyone's just going to sit and spawn. So no, we will not. It's going to be a restart of round number 16 as some tech issues did unfortunately hit Johan. And as I mentioned, I want to see One of Goons continue this initial aggression into the pause and maybe even look for a pivot, but the upgraded pistols of Phoenix are going to be what they're going to have to face, and it'll be interesting to see as well if Phoenix are going to continue with this awkward buy with the two FAMASes and 5.7s and Deagle, or if they're going to
Death,
opt to go for a full save.
death, taxes, and tech issues. The 3 horsemen that come for us all. So, yeah, replaying. I mean, hey, that was looking pretty good. I did like that spray at the end there. That really felt like me. I could just be like, I take my cursor and I just swing it around aimlessly and hopefully I hit, right?
You know, one of the locally hated players has an interesting tendency in his gunfights, and we have coined it the schizo spray. That kind of just AD, moving the mouse left and right. That's what I've coined that one.
That's a good way to say it. Or the Parkinson's spray.
See, but that
Just
doesn't have that much
shaky.
of like a ring off the tongue, you know? You gotta have it roll off the tongue. You gotta
Yeah,
have some flow
the
to it.
ending S on one word and then the starting S on the other word is almost a tongue twister. If you don't have a
True.
pop filter on your mic, it sounds really bad.
But as this tech pause is underway, I do want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, or one of our sponsors, I should say, of Crossfire Season 3, and that is going to be SCL, where you can run 24/7 training servers, whether that's aimbots, whether that's pre-fire, or even some nade practice. SCL has all of the tools that you need to be able to elevate your game plan with your team, or even if you're solo queuing, face it. So make sure to head on over to scl.gg to get started today. And I mentioned it as we got started, Floofies, but we had a little bit of a new innovation in the Crossfire backend. We're seeing Crossfire Arena as well. A little bit of what reminds me of, I'd say, Mythic League, but without the paywall. Just some fun 10-mans for the Crossfire community to come together and test your own skill against some of the other members. So make sure to head on over to Discord where you can get all of the roles and check out, I believe the channel is arena-info. I could be wrong, but make sure to check it out. We got a bunch of community members in there, and as this tech pause is slowly unfolding, Prod, can I send it real quick? Can I send us? No.
All right. Well, that the 10 mans are cool. Something from that werewolf in Carbon X coming in to join us, but does sound like we are going to send it to a bit of an ad break, just a little bit of time to get the match medic into position. So we'll see you. No entry. Perfect segue into the break.
We are back. It's Phoenix versus Wanted Goons after a little bit of a tech issue between or in the server. I think it was from Johan, but nonetheless, we're here. It's 7 to 8. We're heading into round number 16, and Floofys, I mentioned it before we went to the break. I was interested to see if Phoenix continue with the strategy of the two FAMASs, but we've seen a little bit of a change in the buy. We see some more utility on the belt of Gabe, and we see an M4A1S in the hands of Honest.
I'll be honest, seeing how the FAMAS has worked out the past couple of rounds, I would ditch it too. Like, that weapon just doesn't seem to be connecting tonight. I don't know what to tell you. Although I do think this boost, Johan, or 163, is able to drop down onto Killer Pandas, but a trade out of Johan will end that rain very quickly, and the Molly into J-Hall to prevent any sort of revenge being taken by Phoenix. Will allow the rest of Goons quickly down onto the lower bomb site, but the bomb's not down there. It's still in J-Hall with Johan and J-Dubs.
Here's that pump of the brakes, though, that I talked about. One and Goons are great at actually doing something with, and that feels disrespectful to say to the side of Phoenix, but at a certain point, Floofys, we just have to call it how we see it, and it feels like One and Goons are playing Phoenix's game plan a little bit better than they were.
Yeah, I mean, we saw their aggression on Mirage, a little bit of a peek, a little bit of a pull through the vents, and now MDS able to get some position, but Magic still waiting for this push. Drops him with one. Gabe responds down to that 3 versus 3, but Phoenix gonna have to be a little bit quicker. That bomb already halfway ticked down, and Feb in a power position on rafters, waiting for the push on up. It does look like Phoenix have already called it off. They've got 3 rifles, and they are going to leave it well enough alone. Oh, Phoenix? Honest might just walk away with nothing.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't mind Honest. Honestly, I don't mind Honest. Sticking around, trying to find some exits, especially when his 2 teammates have the AK-47s. The M4, as I used to get told in Pugs, we can buy the AK-47, or we can buy the M4A1S, not the AK-47, so make sure to save that and go hunting with the lesser rifle. It does result in 2 AK-47s being the hero rifles for the side of Phoenix, though, and a little bit of a repeat of last round.
Honest is such a good name, but it's also such an annoying name to try and cast around, because it's like, I am going to say, honestly, I feel this way, but then you've got a player called Honest, so then you either get the jokes right themselves, or it just sounds like you're, just don't know what you're talking about, and, I mean, right now, all we're getting is Goons just mowing down Phoenix. 4 kills already, not a whole lot to speak of, as MDS now cowering in Mini with a USP to his name.
Yeah, sometimes we might not know what we were talking about, but One Goons definitely know what they want to do. MDS, as you mentioned, just has a USP and is collected by J-Dubs with ease. So One Goons find themselves on double digits. On the map pick of Phoenix, and Floofys, I feel like I've been a broken record saying this all series, but I didn't expect One Goons to be this ahead in the series as a whole.
Neither did I. I was really kind of thinking this one would go to 3 maps. And the fact that we're on map 2 and Goons are up 3 rounds on the T side, Phoenix, if they don't turn it around here, again, they're going to find themselves really, really down on this one. I do like this position out of J-Chance, though. This is going to deny a quick push into Mini for Goons. And it looks like they might just go for that. J-Dubs already picks off Gabe. Does get clapped right back by Honest. But again, Goons, they're moving in packs, and they're not allowing any player to go down for a 1-for-1. It's a 2-for-1, a 3-for-1, an N for 1 for Goons as they continue this pack rifling strategy. They do send Johan into the upper side alone to his death. So we will be in a 3 versus 3 all the same.
Yeah, Valter's starting to have a little bit of hesitation, but Feb is not going to have any hesitation when it comes to opening that door. He's able to surgically remove the head of Valter, but Magic finds MDS, I'd say asleep at the wheel, but realistically was following the call. And so Honest has a 1v3 ahead. Magic is trying to pull a little bit of magic himself and create the timing of a lifetime. He's vanished like Houdini. Honest is going to be searching and wondering where this player went. And after doing a couple laps, he's ready to hit the sauna. The AK-47 will be collected. He's going to head in towards T-spawn. And that's 11 on the board for Wanted Goons. And Wanted Goons don't give me the name that they'd be the sheriffs in town, but they're in the driver's seat, Floofies. They've got the momentum on their side, and They've got a bank account to back it up.
Welcome to Bad Timing Topia, Population Phoenix. I swear, every time they look away is the moment they're peaked. Like I on one hand, I expected this to go 3 maps. On the other hand, I would be furious with the number of bad timings because it's not only just, oh, I died to a bad timing. It's I died and then I watched my teammate die to a bad timing, and then we watched the next teammate die to a bad timing. Everyone seems to be he seems to be in the wrong position at the wrong time.
So then I'll ask this question: does it not come down to wanted goons creating awkward situations and forcing Phoenix to really put themselves in these positions where they're like, oh, what do I need to watch? Where do I need to watch it? Because I feel like, as I mentioned on Mirage, Phoenix have been a little bit asleep at the wheel when in terms of map control, and I feel like Wanted Goons have been able to take advantage of that flawlessly. We're seeing them now currently grouped up towards Secret and Honest. Lets the AK sing! He finds 3 great kills and collects a 4th as his patience is rewarded, and puts a little bit of a halt to the momentum, but still, Wanted Goons playing with confidence, have those 4 rounds, and Honest is doing all of the heavy lifting for his team, sitting at 28 and 11. J Chance still at 3 and 14 on round number 20. I hate to shut down Jay Thanos, but
Yeah, no, he's
he's
been
nowhere to be
sent to
found.
the he's been sent. So in the comics, Thanos is trying to snap half of the population to date Lady Death.
Mhm.
But I think he's been sent to the death dimension himself, and he can't
Oh,
really escape. Oh my goodness.
speaking of no escape, Gabe is not escaping his fate. It's 8 feet underground. MDS looking for a little bit of a similar one, taking a dangerous duel as the spams have been there for One Goons. And I said it on Mirage. The Goons are playing with confidence. They're playing with swagger. And it's showing in the team play, showing in the play style. But J Chance finally has his first stone. And it's looking like the gauntlet is maybe coming his way.
Maybe. I mean, he's got that up. He's got it in the position that you want to be playing it. Ramp on top of the big box, waiting for the peek on in, fires off a shot,
Uh,
doesn't quite connect, and Magic now. That's going to allow Wanagoons into the ramps to challenge Phoenix. Magic was already over toward J Hall, but Valter's got him. 2 versus 3. Still a chance here for Phoenix to swing this one back. Johan's got anything to say about it. Molly into heaven. He's going to go. He's going to plant this. Yeah. Walter can't respond. 2 players up in heaven to try and stop Johan. Doesn't know it though, but that Molly was instrumental. And again, J Chance's op goes awry. They've been bamboozled. 1 versus 1, ring around the rosy. Once again, plenty of ammo left in the clip to finish the job here, and he will do it. Match and map point for Wanagoons.
I didn't think we'd be saying this early on, in this kind of fashion.
I'll
What
be
more can you
honest.
ask for? What more
If
can
I'm
you
in
ask for?
Phoenix's position, I haven't just tilted off the server. I have tilted into the kitchen, and I am finding something else to do before this game is done because I'm so upset at the number of timings that have been hit, the number of wall bangs. Wanagoons, they have been so aware, so perfect, so precise this entire match. Already, again, 15 seconds for his frag. That's the upper down of J
Honored
Chance.
Russian.
Lobby push for MDS also, but a 1-for-1 is not going to be enough to swing this game back into the control of Phoenix. It does look like their flame is just about to fizzle out. They've got 2 players left versus 4 for Wanagoons. Not the way they wanted to finish out the season here. Season 3 of Crossfire, but it's going to be the ending that they are going to get. Honest in a position to maybe cause some chaos here, but it's not enough. Just gets flattened. 13-8, Wanagoons with a nice 2-0 on the series and will advance to the semifinals.
Yeah, absolutely. So congratulations to the Wanted Goon, saying there's a new sheriff in town, I'd say. Absolutely. And securing the first spot into the semifinals. And as we mentioned, I don't think I never would have thought we'd seen this, right? Is one of Goons taking a spot over Phoenix and now potentially facing off against Regain and the winner of Regain and Phantom Sense. And that is going to be a real, I think, I don't want to say reality check because that's the first word that comes to my mind, but more so a test of might for Wanted Goons because Regain is one of those teams that, as you mentioned, is a long-standing North American Counter-Strike team and always comes to play. Whereas Phantom Sense, on the other hand, is a little bit of a newcomer to the scene, and they've been able to put up some surprising results. So Wanted Goons, although they've had a great victory tonight, have a little bit more climbing to do if they wanna secure the grand final spot in Crossfire Season 3.
It's all right. You can say it. They're going to be facing off against Regain in the semifinals. I realize that game hasn't happened yet. Look, look. I'm the first one to try and, build up an underdog when I think there might be a chance. Or even if there's not a chance, I'm going to sit there and try to be like in their corner like, "You got it, champ. Go back out there." But this is Regain we're talking about. Yes, they won the first season. They didn't win season 2, but they're still looking good. They still have a lot of reps in the advanced season. They still have plenty of reps in all sorts of other leagues that they've been in. And to I want to give some flowers to Phantom Sense for making it this far. But yes, Goons I think are going to be facing off against Regain, and that series is going to have some fireworks.
Yeah, absolutely. But for now, as we mentioned, Goons are going to be the first team to claim a semifinal spot in Crossfire Season 3. The rest of the matches, I believe, unfold, if I'm looking at the tournament, and yeah, actually unfold on January 9th at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and I believe that's what, 5 p.m. Pacific, right? I'm doing my time zone somewhat right. But for now, that is going to be it from us over here at Crossfire Season 3. My name has been Blaker. We've had Floofies to join me to help guide you through the action. We've also had Exploding behind the camera, doing all the fancy camera angles and flipping the screens. And we will see you this coming Friday for some more quarterfinals action. And like I mentioned, make sure to sign up for the Crossfire Arena. And we hope you have a great night.